Good evening and welcome to the Star Chamber Show live podcast, episode number 462. And it is a great Wednesday evening here in Lexington, Kentucky, where I'm broadcasting live from. This is Stephen Zimmer, and joining me just in a few minutes is going to be the lovely, the vivacious, the audacious, and loquacious Holly Phillippe as my co-host. Yes, she's running as a couple minutes behind, as is tradition. So she will be joining me just shortly, but we do have some great stuff for you as far as some new Imaginarium updates. And then we have a great show for you tonight with not one, not two, but three guests who will be on with us just after we get to give some love to our sponsors. But first, we'll go over to the World of Imaginarium 2025, which it's never slows. It never slows. We always have new updates and new developments to pass along to you. It's a 7-day-a-week project, and so yes, we've got some good updates for you here. We wanted to let you know that we have a keynote speaker for this year. We proudly announced the one, the only, Dan Klefstad. He is a great author. He is also a publicist, and he is the co-host of the Vamp Chat with Dan and Eva podcast, which is really, really doing well and has had a lot of great guests. If you like vampire-themed content, it is definitely the podcast to check out on Podbean. But Dan will be our keynote speaker for Imaginarium 2025. Very stoked about that. Or as I would say in light of his podcast, fantastic. But then we also have a couple of new panelists to share with you. We have J.M. Seeley, and then we also have actor, filmmaker, and musician Les Murphy. And of course, you know that Les has been to Imaginarium before, and a lot of you know and love him. Yes, he is back, and J.M. Seeley is definitely looking forward to coming down from Massachusetts, and he's a first-time panelist with us. He's also a YouTuber, and so yes, he's going to be definitely a great contributor to our programming. Then we also have some good news on the film front. We announced 9 more official selections, and we can share those with you here in just a moment. Just a moment here. And let's see here. We had a microphone popping on there. Just a second. I had to get that taken care of for just a second. And we will have, let's see, as far as the United States selections, feature films, we have added Blood on the Bleachers with director Chase Dudley, Bittersweet from director Stephen Martini, Brain Dead from director Justice Hardy, Ebenezer the Traveler from director Joe Valenti, Staycation, Russell Emanuel, and that's also a feature film. And then we also added some new documentaries. We have Tinseltown's Queer, 30 Years Later from director Nicholas Snow, Thousand Year Flood from director Jonathan Hall, Seeds of Sovereignty from director Stuart Tanner, and It's All Connected, The Art of Sustainability from director Cameron McCasland. And some of you who have attended Imaginarium in the past will recognize Cameron. Yes, he's definitely been a part of the festival before and has not been back in a few years. So it's great to see an entry from him. And I also hope that he's able to make it. And so, yes, those are the latest official selections in the Imaginarium 2025 Independent Film Festival. And so that should bring you up to date on all things Imaginarium. And we do have a new call out for some more volunteers. We are going to need a few volunteers we keep growing, and volunteers always are very, very helpful to making sure everything runs just right. So if you have AV or tech skills, or if you like to do security, or if you like to work with guests and attendees, please do check out the Imaginarium site for our volunteers area, volunteering at Imaginarium. And yes, that does cover your weekend event ticket. And we also give you one of our classic t-shirts and some other stuff. So definitely check that out if you would be interested in volunteering at the Imaginarium convention. And then we'll have a whole lot of new news coming forward with some more guests, more programming news, more official selections. Yes, and if you missed the other 25 that were announced previously, you can check on the site under Film Festival Awards, and you can check that out. All 25 of those there, and then the current 9 that have been added. So a lot of stuff going on. So looking forward to it all, and congratulations again to all the filmmakers that were chosen as official selections. And it looks like Holly has just joined me. So Holly, there you are.
I'm here.
Okay, there you are. I was going through the latest official selections and all the new additions to Imaginarium with Dan Klefstad as keynote speaker, and then the new announcement of panelists J.M. Selly and also Les Murphy. So that's what I just tied up. How are you,
Okay.
Holly?
Oh, tired. I've done a lot today.
You have.
I've worked on a lawnmower. I fixed a push mower that had a bolt stuck up in it. I had to change a blade. Fixed that. I patched up 2 holes in our drywall that we had from a water leak that we dealt with last week. I got them drywalled up. And yeah, so it's been wild. Worked on the garage door. I mean, I've done a little bit of everything. Ben, and I didn't get to Imaginarium stuff today. I wish I would have, but I will probably do that later on.
Well,
Busy woman.
it was being covered in house because my entire day was covered with Imaginarium stuff.
Oh,
It
and
was wall to wall for me.
I also made dinner. So
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
but I had an eye on the Imaginarium front for sure because that was the entirety of my day. Was lots and lots and lots and lots of Imaginarium activity. So the household did have it covered, folks. Don't worry.
Oh,
So we have I want to welcome a few folks into the chat room. It looks like Moon DL Hearn has entered the chat room. Amy Lee McCorkle is in the chat room. We've got award-winning
see.
author and screenwriter Carol Preflattish there, and
Hello, hello.
so hello to all the new listeners as well, and definitely know that usually the day after the show airs live, we do distribute to all the large platforms like Spotify and all the platforms like Amazon and YouTube and iHeartRadio and all those kind of places. So you can catch the show on those. So now we will get over to now. Holly, do you have any updates, first of all, before I get to the recognition of
No. I do not. Go ahead.
Okay. Tonight is brought to you by Per Bostet Publications and Sandy Lender, the genre blenders. So we're going to bring aboard Sandy right now for you to give you a little bit of info about a great nonfiction release that she has out there. Definitely recommend you picking this one up.
Are you a creative person working a 9-to-5 job to survive? Let's look at how to keep your energy and joy alive with the new motivational business book, Capture Your Dream, from author Sandy Lender. In Capture Your Dream, Sandy offers stories, lessons, inspiration, SWOT analysis, goal stacking strategies, and more to help you map your plan to achieve a dream job or side hustle. As a creative herself, Sandy knows it takes compromise and commitment to keep the day job to survive while chasing the dream to thrive. Assess your dragon score. Learn more about Capture Your Dream at AuthorSandyLender.com.
And thank you, Sandy. And it is a great book. Definitely recommended. And also bringing you tonight's show is Per Bostet Publications. Per Bostet Publications is a small press based in the Louisville metro area specializing in speculative fiction and other outside-the-box books. With 40 titles in print and ebook formats and a handful of audiobooks, Per Bostet offers a little bit of everything. Check out Frenemies in Space, Marian Allen's new science fiction short story collection featuring return character Smartmouth Connie Phelan. Or try Michael Dabney's latest David Blaze mystery, A Deadly Game, a prequel set in 1984 Philly. You can find these titles and more at perbostetpublications.com, at Amazon, or you can find the press in person at Kentucky and Indiana book fairs and conventions. Per Bostet Publications, where timeless tales unfold. And so definitely want to give a shout out to Sarah Marian, Marian Allen, and T. Lee Harris, the literary triumvirate of Per Bostet. So there we go, Holly. So we are set to go, I think. And I think that tonight with 3 guests, it's going to take me a minute or two to get through my introductions because we got 3 tonight. So
Yeah, I'd say yes.
So I'm going to get ready to bring them all on, and it's going to be great. And as each guest comes on, I am going to activate their mic and say hi briefly, and then we'll bring all three in right together. So, all right, folks, drum roll and get ready here. But first, bringing aboard the first guest that I'm going to bring aboard is a published author and screenwriter of the historical Rose fiction Rose Island, an almost accurate account of days gone by. Also hosted Across the Tracks radio show, interviewing, showcasing creatives, and is the director and actor of the Prospect Play Area Reading Theater Group. And so it's my honor and pleasure to bring aboard the Star Chamber show for the very first time, Terry Chambers. And Terry, your
Hello, Terry.
microphone is on.
Hi, guys. How are you this evening? Thanks for having us on.
No, great to have you
Well,
aboard.
yes.
Great to have you aboard, and I wanted to say hi to you real briefly because we're going to bring aboard each one in succession here, so that you have all three of you, so we can begin our conversation about an amazing event tonight, which I am looking forward to. So here we go. Here's our next guest is an author, storyteller, and engineer who has written 2 books: Hitchhiker's Stories from the Kentucky Homefront and Stitched Together Stories of Kentucky Life. He is the self-appointed commissioner of Kentucky Front Porches, and for 20 years was the resident front porch philosopher in the Kentucky Homefront WFPK radio show, and is the producing director for the Corn Island Storytelling Festival. And so it's also my honor and pleasure to bring aboard the Star Chamber show for the first time, Bob Thompson. And Bob, you should be on.
How you doing, Stephen?
Great.
Hey, Bob.
Doing great.
Hey, Terry.
Doing great.
Hey, Bob.
So now we have 2 out of 3 of you. So
Door number 3. We'll take door number 3 now.
Door number 3. And yes, if I had a drum roll effect, I would play it right now. But our third guest joining us tonight is an author, a columnist, a grassroots history director. And she has attended school 30 years, passion for nature, gardens, walks, wildlife refuges, and national parks and wildlife. And so it is my honor and pleasure to bring aboard. And I should also mention that this guest is also the executive director of the Oldham County History Center. And so it's my honor and pleasure to bring aboard to you tonight the one, the only Nancy Theiss. Nancy, you are live.
Yes, thank you. It's nice to be here. I appreciate it. Hello.
Hello. We've got 3 of you, so this is great. This is going to be a fun discussion, and we want to definitely get into the Corn Island Storytelling Festival, which is going to be the theme for the evening. But first, let's get a little caught up on what each of you are doing, and we can start with Terry, and you can bring us up to date on what you're up to right now, and then we'll get into the event.
Well, I guess my biggest creative endeavor right now is I am working alongside of the Oldham County History Center, and I do live action with historical characters. I've scripted an entire show, one-person show, and I go out and I perform. And this person that I've created and tried to interpret, her name is Delia Ann Webster. She was a wonderful woman back in the 1840s. She was the first woman in Kentucky to be sent to the penitentiary for assisting enslaved people to freedom. And she's got a great story, and I love telling it to a lot of different people. In fact, I'm going to be at Farmington on Saturday receiving an award, a national award for her, based on the show that I've been doing for the past 2 years.
Wow. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And now we will go to Bob. Bob, bring us up to date on you.
Well, gosh, listening to all that stuff that Terry did, I didn't know she was doing all that stuff. But I just got back from my wife and I got back from 2.5 weeks in England, and we went to the Lake District in Oxford and stuff. We're sort of chasing our literary ghosts because Beatrice Potter's ghost is in the Lake District, and William Wordsworth, and we came down and went to Tolkien's grave and C.S. Lewis's house and Stratford-on-Avon. So I came back in a very literary mood, and I'm trying to write my third book. But I'm like Holly because I'm an engineer by education, and spent some time with Buckminster Fuller, and had one point in my life had a business designing and building geodesic domes. And so I'm a sort of a do-it-yourself guy, and there's always some renovation that we've got going, or that my son's got going, who lives close. And so I'm familiar with a lot of stuff you were talking about, Ollie. That's part of my days. And in fact, I guess the tough time that I'm having is balancing those two parts of my brain.
Yes.
Right brain and left brain, and to do all that physical stuff, and then sit down
Yep.
and write. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a balancing act. It's hard to do
yeah,
because you literally got to, it's like flipping a switch, right? You got to flip
exactly.
off
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, it really is because you got your mind on this, mind off that. And if you're like me, if I know something needs fixed or I need to be doing something, I can't focus on anything else, till I get out and get it done. And then,
I
then I
know.
can.
Exactly. So,
So
yeah,
I
I've
get it.
written a couple of books. I was for 20 years. John Gage and I had a radio show, Kentucky
Nice.
Homefront. And I wrote stories for the show. There's mainly music, and I was Colonel Bob, the commissioner of Kentucky Front Porches. And it was I would write a story a month, because we did a lot taping in front of a live audience once a month. So I'd come up with it.
Oh, wow.
And I had over about 200 short stories. And then the University Press contacted me and said, "Hey, we know who you are. Would you mind putting some of those stories in a book?" And I did, and it did really well. And they asked me to do another one, and then told me I could do another one, and I'm working on that one. But it's about my hippie days.
Oh,
So,
heck yeah.
I mean, those memories are fuzzy.
Oh,
Well,
I'd have definitely been a hippie. I wasn't born until the 70s, but yeah, I would have been an all-out hippie. Steven knows this.
yes. I was about to say that you're speaking Holly's language when
Ah,
you mentioned she
I'm all
definitely.
about natural medicine and herbs and yes, all the good stuff. So
Oh
yes,
yeah, organic, and
yes,
yeah.
uh,
Well, yeah,
good stuff.
I have a story in one of the books. I lived on a communal farm that all of us owned
Ooh, yes,
back in the 70s. You know,
that's my dream.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was building geodesic domes for similar-minded people at the same time.
Yes,
Wow.
exactly. That's my dream. You were living the dream, man.
I was living the dream, yeah. And
Yeah.
at the same time, the other side of my brain, I was working for the side gigs that lady was talking about, doing in her book. I had a side gig as the coordinator of construction at the University of Kentucky, and I built the football stadium. That was my first project.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Which football? Commonwealth was.
yes,
you were-
Commonwealth Stadium when it was built in 73.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That
was.
is cool.
That was my first big project as an engineer. So I was sort of letting both sides of my brain work, my hippie brain and my engineering brain.
Fantastic.
Just 5 years after that, my dad was walking me across from where he was doing cancer research at UK to Commonwealth Stadium to see football games when I was 7 and 9 years old. And so, yes, I have fond memories of that period with Commonwealth Stadium. So thank you. Thank you.
Well,
for
you're
filling
welcome.
that.
You're welcome. And that's the reason I got, because of that. I got my Kentucky Colonel certificate for
Yeah,
my part in building the stadium.
fantastic.
Fantastic.
Stephen is
I'm a
also
fellow-
a Kentucky
I'm a
colonel,
fellow
so we got
Kentucky
two
colonel.
colonels
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
No,
yeah.
you have three in the house.
Yeah,
because-
I knew
Oh,
Terry
great.
was.
Wow.
Well, I'm sure
Well, there
Nancy
you
is
go.
too.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Nancy,
I'm a
Nice.
Kentucky Colonel. Yeah.
Yep.
This is a
So we got
gathering
four.
then of Kentucky colonels.
Yes.
Fantastic. It's a trifecta.
Holly,
Colonel
we're just
Front
gonna have
Porch.
we're gonna have to get you in, Holly.
I'm telling you.
That'll be next. Well, that's awesome. That is awesome. And so yes, so we did hear from Nancy there. Nancy, yeah, we
Yes,
had to work our way around to you now. So
that's okay.
it's your turn to bring us up to date. So
Well,
on
I
all
like
things
to,
with you.
anything that involves Terry and Bob is great. I've known them both for a while, and they're tremendous people. I've work at the Oldham County History Center, so we always have a lot of activities going on with local history. I do a lot of oral history programs, like the Living Treasures Oral History. Uh, when Terry was talking about Delia Webster, an Underground Railroad conductor, we have two sites on the National Park Service Underground Railroad Network. We give Underground Railroad tours, we give hidden history tours. We do programs year round. Coming up next week, we have a history cocktail cruise on the Princess, Captain's Quarters Princess Yacht. And we do archaeology, Juneteenth program coming up in June. And then this all kinds of the Day of the Dead in the fall, but this Corn Island Storytelling Festival, which we're going to talk about tonight,
Yeah.
this is just started, and so we're in our second year, and we really have a great lineup. Terry's been doing the work on that PR, so we have people that will be coming, and it will be at the Gardens, third turn, and it'll just be a day of storytelling, and that's at the History Center. That's what we do. We collect people's stories. We do all kinds of archival work and try to connect people back to where they live. So I have a really fun job. I meet a lot of people. We do a lot of educational programs. I'm from Oldham County. I'm an author. I've written 3 or 4 books. I'm a columnist. I just started a new column with the Oldham Era called Oldham County's Green Acres, and talks about the wealth of prime farmland and agricultural districts. As the county's been growing, we've had some interference about industry coming in, so I love to talk about the assets of Oldham County's prime farmland and amazing history we have here, from Derby winters to Derby pie. So that's really it for me. I've been here my whole life, and I'm glad to talk tonight on your all's program about the Corn Island Storytelling Festival.
Well,
Fantastic.
we have a lot. We have a lot of love for Oldham County, and that
Yes.
rascal Tony Akery down there. He's also a Kentucky
Sure.
colonel.
Yeah.
Runs
Yeah.
Hybrid Publications. We love coming to his book fair and anything
Yeah.
going on with Tony, and then of course Lynn Tincher down at From the Ground Up Bookstore and stuff. But this is something new for both Holly and myself. We don't know.
Yes.
So we're
Didn't
just
even know
as
it
new to
existed until you
Corn
guys.
Island Storytelling Festival
And I was like, wow.
Well,
Yeah.
this
as many in the
festival,
audience. Yeah,
and
tell us about where it started.
we
Yeah.
are celebrating our 50th year with this. And
Wow.
Bob has been probably the longest, but our good friend, and we all know this guy, Lee Pennington, started
Yes.
the Corn Island Storytelling Festival. And Bob got involved, and then I got involved, and then we wrangled Nancy to get involved.
Well, the Oldham County History Center is who they wrangled. They're the ones that our board came up. They came to our board and asked if we would like to be the new sponsors, and the board said yes, because it fits right in with a lot of our mission statement. And so that's how the History Center has now been involved for our second year. We became the main sponsors of the event, and then we're always looking for other sponsors. We've got some great ones coming in, the Prospect Rotary Club, and we have the America 250, which is a celebration of 250 years of American history and our Constitution. They're supporting Corn Island this year. In fact, we have a whole segment of speakers that will be talking about history and telling us stories about local history and national history. And we have a night of ghost telling that night, and then we start out with some kids programs. So it's going to be very, very open for everyone, something for everyone to come to and see.
Now, what is the venue like that it's taking place on or in? Like, is it open
Yeah.
air, or is it in a facility?
Have you been to Third Turn Beer Gardens in Crestwood?
I have not yet. No,
It's
not yet.
absolutely beautiful, and it's huge. and they have beer and food. So that's the food venue and drink. But they took greenhouses and they took out the glass part, and it's just woven in with these hanging vines, and
It's
it's very, very
it's truly a beer
low
garden.
key. Yeah, it's a big beer garden, and gosh, how many people does it hold, Terry? You think?
They've got several acres there, and it's just used when you ask if it's in or outside. It truly is the best of both worlds
Hmm.
because they do have indoor space and then they have the outdoor space as well. And we'll be
Hmm.
utilizing both of those. We'll have an indoor and an outdoor part to the festival this year. It'll start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to go till 10 o'clock at night. It's
Hmm.
Terry,
relatively
do you have
inexpensive.
do you have
Yep,
the program in front of you,
I
Terry?
do. I do. Yes.
You're going to go over some of those people
If
because,
you would like me to, I certainly can.
yeah, I think everyone should hear who we've got.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
see who's
recognize.
all coming.
I recognized a few of these names.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
you got
Oh,
sent
some
do you
good
have the
ones.
Stephen.
program?
I
Okay.
sent
Yes.
Stephen Holly the
Yeah,
program. I got.
I've
Do
got
you
it.
want to? Do you want to run through it, Stephen?
Well, we could talk about them. I mean, it's some great ones, and I was very excited to see a couple names on there because they're people that I know. But we can start with we can showcase all of them if you'd like, because there's
Yeah.
let's see, I think we got what let's
Well,
see,
we
about
start at one
five,
o'clock
about
with
10.
Eddie Price.
Yeah, yeah.
We're starting early with mainly children's type of things, but at 1 o'clock Eddie Price, and he's Little Miss Grubby Toes. He's an author who's written that book, and he will be there, and he will actually be telling stories about that.
Oh, cool.
He's a puppeteer, so he brings Little Miss Grubby Toes with him,
Uh-huh.
but he comes back later because he's also a very great author on Kentucky history fiction,
Uh-huh.
and he wrote a book called Witter's Landing, which it talks all about Kentucky in the 1700s, and weaves this great story of a family and a lot of different characters and the Ohio River and even down to New Orleans, Kentucky's relationship. It's fascinating. So
So
he'll be there twice.
that'll be there at 6 o'clock. So he'll be there
Yeah.
at 1 for the kids, 6 o'clock with the Widder's Landing. At
Mhm.
1:30, we've got a wonderful poet coming in,
Yes, you
Sarah
do.
McCoy
Yes,
Jackson.
yes, you
We're
do.
really
Yeah.
excited about that. And 2 o'clock, Jeff Baggett, Revolutionary War in a Trunk. Now,
And what is that?
Nancy
Yeah,
is
what
sitting
is that
back.
about?
Nancy, can
Yeah,
you
so
talk
he
about
comes in. This is again, the people in the afternoon are really focused on Kentucky history. So he comes in with a lot of hands on type items and how soldiers and people lived during the Revolutionary War. So you'll get to see a lot of things daily things that people would have used. What did they eat? You know, some of these soldiers marched for several hundred miles. How they survived it all, and he just gives insights and real artifacts that people can touch and see. And kind of bring history so that it makes it real to see these things and touch them.
Yeah, I love how you went back to the Revolutionary War period because a
Hmm.
lot of Kentucky events, of course, they cover the Civil War period, but you don't
Yes.
often see that period covered at events
True.
like
True.
So I think it's great that you're doing something like that. Yeah,
Well,
going back to the Revolutionary period.
yes, it's really fascinating. For instance, in Oldham County, a lot of the Taylor family came to Oldham County right after the Revolutionary War on these war grants. One was Commodore Richard Taylor, who was commanded the Virginia Continental Fleet, and he ended up here. Of course, he was Zachary Taylor was, I believe, one of his nephews. They were all related, and they had these huge land grants and very involved in the Revolutionary War. So Zachary Taylor, of course, he moved here after the war to Louisville area, and he grew up right there at the Zachary Taylor Cemetery, the National Cemetery, and that house is well preserved. People still live in that house, actually. Um, so you'll get a lot of information about Kentucky. There was still a lot of Native
Hmm.
Americans that were still around, mainly
Hmm.
Shawnee in this part of the state. and a lot of conflict, of course, between people coming to grab land and people trying to protect their land that had been theirs for thousands of years.
Well, Nancy, that is a great segue into our 3 o'clock
Mhm.
hour, which is Rita Underwood, Painted Turtle Woman.
Oh,
Yes,
neat.
yes, she's Rita's actually on our board of directors at the History Center, and she grew up in North Dakota, and she will talk about our relationship to Turtle Island, which is a description of North America, and about how Native Americans are still very active in North America, even in
Uh-huh.
Kentucky, even though we don't have a reservation in Kentucky. But the influence of the river and river life and people here, which is you'll be. She gets people really engaged, hands on, and does all kinds of neat stuff.
Well, I love that because part of my heritage is I mentioned it on the radio show last week, but I'm black. I have some Blackfeet Nation heritage myself, so
Oh
I
wow.
love that. And but I also think it's great because a lot of people don't realize that even the name Kentucky has roots, from Native Americans in terms of
Absolutely.
the actual word
And so
Kentucky.
many,
So
yeah, Rita's so
yeah,
good about acknowledging. There's so many places in Kentucky that have you can still see and feel a lot of the Native American history that people don't even know about, artifacts and mounds and that kind of thing.
hmm
So, one of our missions is to help explore and get people more engaged in Native American history in Kentucky and get them involved in how to respect our earth, particularly, I think, in this time and place. We really need to get back in touch with all the living things around us.
oh, definitely, definitely. That's going to be a great segment. And
Well, wait till we hit 4 o'clock though. We have the
four
great
o'clock.
Maker's Mark, Bill Samuels Jr., talking
Yeah.
Nice.
about moonshine to bourbon.
That's
Yeah.
get that's
Woo! There you
that's
go.
the one that'll get me in trouble.
There you go.
I
Well,
love my bourbon. I love my bourbon. And
and
yes.
and and Bill loves his bourbon family and bourbon history. You know, he talks
Yeah.
about them as moonshine runners, and he can trace his family connection to moonshine all the way back to the 1700s. He's a wonderful speaker about local history, and Bill lives in Oldham County, so that's
Mhm.
pretty cool. Bill and his wife, they've been here a long time.
Yeah,
Well,
and Maker's Mark is so iconic. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
like I mean, you just see the bottle and you know it's Maker's Mark anywhere you are in the world. I mean, it's a for people around the world that they do associate it with Kentucky, and so
they do.
that's a great pick. Yeah,
Well, and
definitely.
Bill taught, he loves to tell the story about how his mother created that wax seal.
Mhm.
So I'm sure he'll tell people about that because it's a great story. And he's very generous to Kentucky. He loves Kentucky and he's always been supportive of nonprofits like the Oldham County History Center.
Yeah, definitely.
well,
Yeah.
our 5 o'clock hour, our first Kentuckian, Daniel Boone, is going to be there. Mr. Kevin Hardesty is going to be on stage at that hour and talking about him and dressed as him, coming as him.
Yes, his description of Boonesboro and the first settlements. He is a Kentucky Humanities Council Chautauqua actor. He has done this for a long time. The Kentucky Humanities Council has provided these Chautauqua players for several decades. They're a bit worried about their funding now, and we would hate to lose the Humanities Council and all they do. So several of these speakers for this festival are actually with the Kentucky Chautauqua program from the Humanities Council. And when Kevin does this program, I mean, you feel like you're in the presence of Daniel Boone. He's a great, he really portrays that character very well.
That was one of the names that jumped out at me when I was looking at your list because I do know how talented Kevin is and just a fantastic theater talent, and that was good. That's great to see. Definitely encourage people to catch that performance for sure.
Hmm.
And then our 6 o'clock, we've already talked about Eddie. He's going to be there in costume doing the Widder's Landing information. And once
Yes.
we're finished with that, We are moving into ghost stories. And I know everybody likes the ghost stories from 7, 8, and 9 o'clock. At 7, we've got Mary Hamilton, Feeding Nightmares will be her
Yeah,
topic.
Mary has been at the History Center before, and she is very graphic in the way that she portrays a story. She really, her whole body and soul get into that, and she's very creepy when she tells these stories. So be prepared.
I like
Yeah,
creepy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Be prepared. That's when you need to go get another beer to drink,
Yeah.
because you'll have a good time with her.
At
She
8,
also she also is a Kentucky Humanities Council speaker. She's in their speakers bureau.
Well,
at
oral storytelling is such a craft. I mean, it
Hmm.
is such a distinct craft, and I just admire the great oral storytellers, and that's great. You got one to kick off the ghost story segment. That is great.
well, and at 8 o'clock, we've got Tom Freeze. And Tom's topic is ghost stories, witches, and haunted battlefields.
Yes.
Have you all? Do you all know Tom? Have you all met
Yes,
Tom? Yeah,
great writer. I was going
yeah.
to say
He
that's one of the
Oh,
names that
I
really
like
jumped out at
Tom.
me.
He's a good guy.
Tom is great. Yeah,
yeah.
we like.
He's
Hmm.
very. He also does a great job in storytelling and really gets individuals. He goes into the audience and kind of pulls them out. He's also a good artist, and he is in a lot of psychic fairs. You see Tom all the time selling his goods, and he's written, I bet you, 10 or 15 books on all kinds of subjects. But he loves the psychic world.
And Holly could definitely talk shop with Tom. No,
Yes.
so if
Oh, yes. Oh,
so
yes.
when we're there, we'll have to make that happen, Holly, for sure.
That's my
Well,
right up my alley.
Yeah.
our last featured star on stage at 9 o'clock will be Marie Mitchell and Dr. Mason Smith, The Battletown Witch and Other Haunts.
Yeah, as a Kentuckian, I didn't hear a whole lot about witches, but apparently there are a lot of witches around, and
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yes, we are.
that old Appalachian magic. Yeah, that old mountain magic. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So
Granny
this
Witches.
this couple again, they are a Kentucky Humanities Council. They've been speakers and they've been on the Chautauqua program. I think the Chautauqua. I know they're from their speakers bureau, but they love to have a good time, and they, for some reason, really got into witches. Like, you know, so the Bell Witch is something that a lot of people know about, and if you don't know
Uh-huh.
about her, you're going to find out about her. She might come pay you a visit.
There you go.
Yeah, Holly, that's another
So,
topic area you love. So I know
Yes,
you'll
I
be
do.
on that one too.
and we do have some other things that are going to be going on throughout the day as well. We do have a wonderful volunteer at the History Center who's going to be there from 1 to 5, and he's going under the name of Uncle Bob. And Uncle Bob is a total he's a total guru on baseball.
Yeah,
And
Nice.
Bob is going to be there. Bob Fortunato is his name, but he knows everything. So it's Stump the Chump throughout the day. You can come and try to stump Bob with any kind of baseball trivia, which he'll have a lot of different memorabilia there. He's going to be dressed in character, and he's just a wonderful guy to be able to spend the afternoon with.
yeah. Bob's a real authority on baseball. He was for years he was a tour guide for the Louisville Slugger, but he also grew up near the old Brickyard in Philadelphia, and I think his Bob might have been a concessionaire, but he's a true baseball fan to his heart. He knows there, you can't stump him. I guarantee you. We should probably give prizes out if you can, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, and again, Kentucky is a baseball state for sure, so that fits in
Oh,
perfectly
yeah.
with the theme. But it looks like, yeah, your guests, you have great stuff. You have some reenactment aspects, you have historical aspects, you've got bourbon, you've got ghost stories, and all kinds of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
that's quite a lineup you've put together.
Well, the Third Turn
Yeah.
Brewery has, it's a local. They have all kinds of wonderful beer on tap, and so that meets a lot of people. Are there all the time. I mean, they have stuff there year round. Uh, they have Bring Your Dog Night. They have I don't just all kinds of. They have bands and stuff. So they are being so gracious because they are donating their venue to the Oldham County History Center because they know what we do and they appreciate our mission to preserve and collect Oldham County and local history. So we appreciate them being a partner with this Corn Island Storytelling Festival. And I don't know, Terry, I kind of feel like it might be there every year. I'm not sure. We'll see.
I don't see any reason why not. We don't have to haul in a lot of things for this as far as
Right.
logistics, and so we love that part. One of the things, though, Bob Thompson, I know you're still there.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
We are celebrating our 50th anniversary this
Yes,
year.
we are.
And Bob, you have got that history right at the top of your head, I know. Can you take us back a little ways to maybe telling us how this all got started and what's the name Corn Island all about?
Yeah, I want to know that. That's
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it all started with Lee and Joy Pennington, and they got tied in with. He was a English professor and from Eastern Kentucky or up around Maysville, Port Arthur, Maysville, yeah, and he. He helped start he was on the board of directors of the group that started the National Storytelling Festival down in Jonesboro, Arkansas in 1973. And it did, it did pretty well. And Lee and Joy decided they wanted to start a festival here in Louisville. And both of them were professors at Jefferson Community College. And they got Jefferson Community College to sponsor the first one in 1975. And it started growing. And when I got involved, well, in 1977, a big thing happened for both festivals that just sort of put them into orbit, and that was the miniseries Roots came out in January of
Oh yeah.
1977, and and it ran for 8 nights, and it on the final night it had 85% of the population of the United States watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
I remember that.
yeah, to this date, I think it's still got the third rated episode. That final night was the third rated episode in Nielsen's ratings ever. And all of a sudden, people, that was a story of it started in 1750. It was a book by Alex Haley, and the story started in 1750 in Gambia and wound up in 1890 in the United States. And it was just, an epic story of finding your roots. And the way he did it was he went back to Africa. Well, he went back to Africa and met a storyteller, a series of storytellers, and got a lot of it through oral tradition, and then took those stories and researched them along with the oral stories that he'd heard growing up, and wrote a book about it, and that became the mini series, and that sort of everybody at that point everybody got really, really interested in oral history. And storytelling is the common denominator of human experience.
Yes.
It's the compilation of history, one story at a time.
True.
It carries our cultural identity and our interpersonal communications. So storytelling is sort of at the heart of things, and I think that gave it a boost, and it's been going for 50 years. Lee and Joy, I got involved in about 10 years after that, in 1978, and worked with them until they decided to travel the world and hand it off to me. And I kept it going up through COVID, different locations. That was always, when we moved around a lot. We had it at Locust Grove and Tom Sawyer Park and the Water Tower and the riverfront and Long Run Park, and we and now we I was getting ready. We decided after COVID how to get it restarted, and worked with Terry and got talking, and it seemed like that the Oldham County History Center was the perfect landing spot for it because they're committed to oral history, and Nancy's just done a wonderful job with that program, and got so many things going, and this fit right in. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, that's an amazing history, and I love the fact that Lee and Joy were at the beginning of that road.
Oh
It-
yeah,
Yeah.
this,
they're so awesome. We absolutely love them. They're actually being inducted into our Imagination Hall of Fame this summer, so
oh
they're Hall of
yeah,
Famers with us.
Yeah, Lee is a Hall of
But
Famer.
oh
but
yeah,
but
yeah,
but
yeah.
kudos to you for weathering the COVID storm because I tell you, even with Imaginarium, which is only in its 12th year now, I mean that was a real tough year because we had to go entirely virtual that year, and it was tough because a lot of
Oh,
conventions that were like in our size and area actually had to shut down after that because they couldn't operate that year.
yeah,
Right.
So that
yeah.
was yeah, congrats on being able to
And
get
we
through
had to
that
shut
period.
down the Kentucky Homefront radio show because of that.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, yeah, because
geez.
we taped in front of a live audience. It was small, not
Uh,
for profit, and that sustained us. And then
Hmm.
so
Yeah, that was a
oh,
tough move.
yeah.
I mean,
Jeez,
But
oh, Pete.
But it sounds like you've had quite a history of venues and because from our angle of organizing a convention, we appreciate that. Every time you go to a new venue, you have to figure out how to make it work
Oh,
and the
that's
logistics
it.
and what to do
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
And
people and
I'd say I do the programming, so then I gotta picture all these different
yeah,
breakout rooms, and yeah, so I can appreciate it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We can
Oh,
Oh yeah,
appreciate what
yeah,
you go through. Yeah, and that's a lot of logistics and organizing because it's
yes,
not a
yes, it is.
it's not the kind of thing. And these events are not the kind of thing you can throw together. I mean, they are things
no,
that take a
No,
lot of work to set up, and and so yeah,
yeah,
kudos on that.
and the Oldham County History Center and Nancy and her board and the committee that we've got together, they really do a good job.
yeah. It seems like
Well,
you got a great group, works together really well, which is wonderful.
Yes.
yeah, it's a pleasure for us, and it's nice to always. This is a real family venue as well. So, for instance, the admission is $15, but kids 12 and under are free.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
And
so
that's
that's
an
a
all-day pass.
yeah. So that's really you can't do anything for that. And
No,
Not these days. No, you
no.
can't.
so yeah, and their food there that it's varied. It's really good. They have things from I think soft pretzels to all. We're adding a new kitchen, aren't they, Terry? At the third
Yes, they
turn.
said they were having all that for the summer, so it should be up and running shortly.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's just
Fantastic.
yeah. So the deal, it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I saw in your program you have the tickets on Eventbrite.
That's
Is that
right.
so you can buy them now? I guess.
Yes, yes, you
Yeah.
can
Oh,
because
okay.
we're limited on seating. I don't think we can sell more than 200, Terry, is that right?
We're going to have that seating, yes, and then it's going to
200, I
be
think, is our limit.
standing room
200. Okay.
only because people will come and go throughout the day. So,
Right,
Hmm.
uh,
right, right.
yeah, and we've got an outdoor area that we're going to do maybe some other little things as well. We've got some of the people who are authors who will be there that day. They will maybe be bringing their books in, and they'll be able to have an opportunity to sell, uh,
It's
you know,
fine.
types of things as well.
Yeah, that was my question.
Fine.
What do you have like vendors and exhibitors as well, or is that a part of it? Or
We had talked about we actually were trying to get a larger vendor, and we put some things out there and didn't get much reaction.
Mhm,
So mainly we are down to the people who are participating to bring in their books, and then we have History Center books. I have some
mhm,
books I've written. Bob has some books. Uh, so and then Eddie Price. There's several authors involved here too, but
mhm,
we don't have. We were going to do it as a colonial fair trade show as well, but
mhm.
it's the same weekend as another big colonial thing going up in Indiana, so we just couldn't bring in the people that could do hands demonstration kind of crafts.
Right.
So maybe we can do
Right.
that next year. We did select August because that seemed to be a really good time of year to have something like this. Um,
Mhm.
there's so many things that are going on in the fall, it's hard to compete. So
And
we
Yeah,
moved
you
it to
I'll
August.
do a shout out here for our friend Tony Akery. He's got the LaGrange Book Fair going in
yes.
LaGrange
Yeah.
that
Yeah, he
first week,
does.
that first weekend, that first Saturday of
Yes, he does.
August,
Yep.
and then we're the
Yep.
16th. We're the third Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like
Okay.
we're gonna have to go to Lagrange twice that month, Holly. We're gonna have
Yeah,
to
I
go
guess
You
we
to
need to
are.
come to this.
20's
Well,
book
Well,
now
that's
fair.
we're
after.
going to be in
That's right
Crystal.
after. I would say it's right after our, Imaginarium. So yeah, we're
Yeah,
we're kind of taking some downtime. So that'll be
a
good.
little bit. Yeah,
And I
that'll
will
be
say
good.
I'm really excited about coming to Imaginarium this year because you guys
Yes.
are letting me lead a workshop on how to
Yes.
Yes,
put together a one-woman show.
that's gonna be
That's gonna be
that's
so
gonna
much
be
fun.
awesome.
It is going to
Yeah,
be so much
perfect.
fun.
It is.
I hope to
But
be able to attend that one. As long as there's no fires going on that I have to put out,
yeah,
I will be there.
yeah, yeah. You know how it is when you're running an event. You got to be on
Yeah,
point all
I
times.
try. I
Absolutely.
try. I wish I could go to every single panel and workshop, but I
Oh
obviously
no,
cannot. So,
You,
but I try to make
but
what
see,
I can.
you
Holly, we
definitely have to
can.
learn to pivot when you're
Yeah.
doing
Yes,
an event.
But see,
amen. And you
at
got to have plan B, C, and D, and E.
but at the Corn Island Storytelling Festival, however, we're not responsible for anything, so we can
That's
go and
right.
relax,
You
and
just
we
We
can
could
come
enjoy.
actually
on. It's going to be
no,
a fabulous party.
we
Yeah,
could
we can
enjoy,
enjoy it for a change. Yes,
and
and
we will definitely help pass the word.
oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
definitely
Yes,
will. Yeah, because
definitely.
Oldham County is a great part of
Oh, we
Kentucky,
love it.
and August is a good month because really
Hmm.
does odds are you're not going to have any problem with rain. Usually,
Yeah,
I mean it's usually
yeah, not usually.
not too crazy. It's kind of
Well,
a
the
dry
Right.
month.
storytellers will be inside. We've got a roof
Well,
Mhm.
over
good,
our part.
good.
Yeah,
Rain or shine, we're going to have them.
Oh, that's
yeah. I know.
wonderful.
No, one year Tony got kind of snake bit because they had a big storm that had tornado threats pop up, and Holly and I were
Yes.
at that event. And,
Yeah,
fortunately,
there
we
was
didn't
like
have anything
tornado
happen.
warnings, and
Yeah,
yeah, and we're like, "Oh, this is great."
yeah.
We were taking our books in during a storm, and oh yeah, it was
And
wow. But
books
we
and
still
water
had
don't mix
people.
too well.
We still had people come out
Yes,
though.
they
I
did.
couldn't believe it.
Hmm.
The year I
Yeah.
was at they were over on, not down at City Place where they're going to do it
Right.
now, but
They're
they
down
were
at
at
the
the other
YMCA.
place. And it
Was
Yeah.
it the
poured rain
YMCA?
when I was there. And you're right, you had
Yep.
to really time it in
Mhm.
order to get out of your car, get your books
Yeah.
inside without getting them
Yeah.
soaked.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
in the big gym of that YMCA. That was where
Yeah.
he was a couple of years
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
But City Place
Oh, I
is a
love
great
this. I
facility.
love it.
Yeah, that is a great. I love that facility.
Well,
But
we're
this is
actually, the History Center is actually doing a Juneteenth program at City Place this year. Nancy, you've got
Oh, cool.
details on
Yeah,
that.
we've been
Okay.
having Juneteenth celebrations since 2004. And this year,
Nice.
we are presenting, we have the Elijah Mars Award. Elijah Mars was enslaved and he ran away and joined the Union and came back after the war and taught people in LaGrange and Eminence and Newcastle. He taught children at churches how to read. They didn't have schools. So
Oh,
he was
wow.
an amazing man. So we give this award in his honor. And this year, we're presenting it to Major General Craig Timberlake, who's retired now, but
mhm.
he received the Japanese Rising Sun Award for leading Marines to uh, Japan in 2011. You remember that big earthquake they had where over
Yes.
Yes.
20,000 people were
Yeah.
killed?
Yes.
So, under his command, they were able to clear the airports and get things going. And then he got an award for Germany for helping Germany in Afghanistan with the NATO alliance train other troops.
Oh,
So
wow.
he is really an amazing man. He came up by his bootstraps, was born in Eminence, moved to LaGrange, and just a remarkable man. So we're going to honor a Major General on Juneteenth, and a lot of his family still live here. We have a jazz band's going to play. It's going to be a banquet
Oh,
dinner, and it's free.
wow.
And it's
Wow.
Nice.
free at City Place, but you have to get your tickets through Eventbrite,
Mhm.
and we're doing 175 tickets. So, when we run out, we run out.
Run out. It's
Yeah,
unlimited. Yeah.
yeah. But
Get
Oh,
them
that's
now.
it's a great event honoring our local African Americans and history and their what they have brought to Oldham County to make Oldham County what it is today. So that's what we
Wow.
do for our Juneteenth celebration. That's June the 21st. Doors open at 6 o'clock, and we have a wonderful banquet. And you get to meet Major General Timberlake.
oh wow.
And
That's
Delia
great.
Webster.
What'd
Let's
you
see.
say, Terry?
I
Yeah.
said, and you get to also meet Delia Webster that night.
Yes, Delia is going to be there. She is very awesome. I tell you what, if you talk about sacrifice and these Underground Railroad conductors, this area was very active. Louisville was the slave trade city, and Cincinnati was sort of the place where a lot of abolitionists were. And Delia Webster just went right in there. A woman who sacrificed many times. She was the first Anglo-Saxon woman to be in prison in Kentucky's penitentiary, and
Huh.
because she was helping a man and his family. Terry, you can tell this story better than me.
Uh-huh.
Escape. So she really puts on the persona of Delia, and when Terry does Delia, people have tears in their eyes.
Mhm.
Wow.
I make
Uh,
him cry. I know
you
I've done
do.
my job if I can make him cry.
She's a very, but and then also, and Terry is part of our. I don't think I said. Yeah, I did. The history cruise, the cocktail cruises. Terry's also going to be doing a new character, Mary Miller, this fall on our history cocktail cruise. You want to tell them about Mary Miller?
Well, Mary Miller was another fabulous woman from Kentucky. She was born in Portland. She died in Portland, west of downtown Louisville. And she was the first woman in the United States to receive a steamboat captain's license in 1884. Just a
Wow.
wonderful story about her and what she had to go through in order to. She had to go all the way to D.C. to get someone to recognize her. The Secretary of the Treasury actually finally said, "Okay, we don't care if she's a woman. If she can do the job, she can have the
Mhm.
license." So she was the
Heck
first
yeah.
woman to break that glass ceiling.
Nice.
Nice. It
And
sounds like
That's
you've got,
amazing.
yeah, a
in the
lot of
boat,
stuff going
yeah,
on.
one of the
Well,
paddle
you know, I
wheelers.
got the costume, so I was committed. I had to write her story. That's always
Yeah,
the
just
criteria. I get the costume, and then the character comes.
there you go. That's how it happens.
That is
I love it.
now.
I love it.
Now with the now going back to the Corn Island Storytelling Festival, for folks that are listening tonight, where do you direct them to get more information to connect with you and find out about it and
We
tickets and all that stuff?
So the tickets are on Eventbrite. As with any
Mhm.
ticket for any of these programs that we talk about with the History Center, Eventbrite is where you want to go.
Okay.
Okay.
We have a Facebook page, Corn Island Storytelling Festival Facebook page. We're putting all kinds of information on that regarding all of the tellers and their background and the types of things they're going to be doing, and anything that's regarding the festival itself will be on that Facebook. And then you'll also be able to see some of it as we get further into the summer on
Hmm.
the Oldham County History Center's
Hmm.
website.
Yeah,
And
Okay.
and it's just
many things,
OldhamCountyHistoryCenter.com.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I
and
was
then
looking it up.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
go
it
ahead.
sounds like you guys are very active. You do a lot of things. Like, do you do like special things every month?
Yes, we're open
Okay.
year round. And for instance, this Saturday we have the Underground Railroad car tour. So you get in your car and you follow me around to different points of interest in Oldham County, and I'll tell you the story about something that happened there in regards to the Underground Railroad. We
Oh,
start in
wow.
LaGrange, and we tour through the middle of the county and end up over in Goshen, and then you just go your own way. You bring your own lunch and your drinks, and we have a great time. And you really learn about what the Underground Railroad was. So you actually visit places where things happened. That tour is from, I believe we start at 10:30 to 1:30. It's a 3-hour tour. It's $15 a person, and you follow me to these places. We start Barnyard Fun, which is a free program from 10 to noon on Saturday mornings at the History Center. It is conjunction with the farmers market right there in the pavilion at Springs Park in LaGrange. Last week we had it's called Penix Peckers, and it's a farm animals. So kids come and gosh, they bought a goat and a little pig and all kinds of things, and kids got
Aw.
to see these animals and pet them, and they actually feed them ice cream cones filled with little like corn and stuff. It's very cute.
Aw.
We have antique iron. We have this club for the History Center of people interested in old cars and antiques. They come in and they do programs. We've got something like that every Saturday. And then we have archaeology, public archaeology. And we've had a tough time this spring. Every time we've had a program, it's rained, and you can't shift soil when it's mud. So we've
Right.
had to cancel those. But we have a field school in the summer, and we offer some more in the fall. And we have our annual, did I mention next week we have a reception. We have a new exhibit. It's 200 living treasures. Terry's one of them, and Bob's one of them. These are oral histories that
Very
I've
cool.
interviewed and transcribed, and we have a partnership with the Oldham Era. We have 2 photographers, Peter Campbell and Bobby Nelson, and a 1-page spread every month about a person who's a living treasure. This oral history program, we have 200, and we put in 200 bricks pavers in the front of the museum to celebrate each one of our living treasures. We did our 200th interview in March of this year. So,
And then
That's
we
amazing.
have, don't forget your big gala.
yes, that's in the end of July. We honor a champion of Oldham County history. And this year it's Ruth Ann and Richard Beard, and it's at Barn 8, which is a beautiful historic venue at Hermitage Farm in Goshen. And people have a wonderful time. And they help raise money for the History Center and honor people who have supported the History Center. So that's another big event that happens.
We'll be getting our brains back by the end of July, hopefully. So, yeah, we'll have to come out.
And
Yeah,
I
catch
definitely
that.
want to
Yeah,
attend some of that. I love, Stephen
yeah.
knows, I love history and
Well,
antiques
both
and
of us
all this
do.
stuff. So,
Yeah, both of
yeah,
us.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
should
realize
come
he's
and
doing all this.
yeah, I wrote a book called Hidden History of LaGrange. I'm a history press author. And
Nice.
so from that one, we actually give a walking tour on several Saturday mornings each month. And
Huh.
so come on our walking tour and we'll show you Hidden History
Yeah.
of LaGrange.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd
let
be
me give
neat.
that.
And Greg,
Yeah,
we've got 3 teenage grandchildren that live with us, and that would be really cool for them.
yes, it would.
Yes, and we do cemetery tours in the fall.
Oh,
Yep,
yes,
for
yes.
that too.
I'm all
Yeah,
in.
Yep, she's in on that.
yeah,
Oh,
And
we
I want to give
visit.
Howie,
a.
Yeah,
Howie,
I
you
do want
might
to.
as well just move to Oldham County.
no
Everything's
kidding,
Apparently,
happening
right?
in Oldham County.
Oh, let me tell you, I'd
well,
be right in on it too. I'd help you do all the stuff. I'd be right there
well,
in it.
we have a
well,
big
we're gonna
volunteer
call in.
program, so
Yeah,
you need to
I'd be right in
volunteer.
there.
That'd be
We're
great.
gonna call in. We're gonna call in Bob for that because we've always wanted to do kind of a communal farm thing. So we'll get your insights, Bob,
Yes.
when we we'll find a patch
Yeah.
of
Oh,
land and
exactly.
we'll
Yeah, I
Oldham
could.
I
County.
wanted to do that with the children, my children, and of course the grandchildren, and like-minded creatives,
Yes.
that are around us. And I have a big plan. I said we could have a stocked fish pond. We'll go all solar, and grow a communal garden and because I did it for 27 years. I lived in out of Beebe, Indiana, if y'all know where
Oh,
Belterra
yeah.
Casino
Sure.
stuff is.
Sure.
Yeah, I lived out in Amish community out in Bennington
Okay.
for over 20 years. So my best friend was Amish, and they were old Amish. I mean, they didn't even have running water in the house, nothing, old
Yeah.
order. And so I've learned so much stuff from
I
them.
bet.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I get out, I could fix a lot of things because, well,
Well, you
I
have
know
to.
how,
Yeah.
yeah, and I know how to can and I know how to preserve and,
Sure.
yeah, I know how to, cut up a hog or a cow and,
Yeah.
Right.
So we don't
Right.
have to
it's
do
all
that too much
good
anymore.
things to have,
Right.
good things
But,
to know.
right.
but
Yeah,
Right.
they are.
But but I do want to put some focus on the Oldham County History Center's site for our listeners. It's
Yes.
oldhamkyhistory.com, and Oldham is spelled Oldham. So oldhamkyhistory.com is the website for the History Center. So definitely check that out, folks, because I know for writers love settings and to get ideas for storytelling, and it sounds like there's a lot here to check out.
Yeah, we
And
would love
Corn,
to have you all.
yeah.
And you never know, for next year's show, we'll be looking for new storytellers possibly. And,
There you go.
opening it
And
up
yeah.
to all of the creatives that we know are here and around us and everywhere.
Oh, it's a state filled with a lot of great ones. It really is. But you've got such a great lineup for this year for the Corn Island Storytelling Festival.
It's
I'm
amazing.
really impressed with the lineup you have. It's a good one. And August sounds just about right for Holly and I
Yes.
coming back from the recovering from
Getting my
ours. So
brain back.
we'll be able to get there and be somewhat coherent by then. So yeah, we'll come see you for sure. But now before we wrap up the show tonight, though, I do want to give all three of you a chance to tell listeners anything you've got coming up, works in progress that you think you're working on, or if you have anything going on, or if you want to direct folks to connect with you personally
Yes.
on
Social media or websites.
Yeah.
social media, website kind of thing.
Well, the best thing, like you've already said, for the History Center, you'll see our calendar of events. So the best way to contact us is just to look at that, and there's contact places. And if you've never been to the History Center, we'd love to have you. We're open Wednesday through Saturdays, and the museum, and we have a wonderful library and archives. And we do a lot of genealogy programs as well. We
Oh,
keep
neat.
records of all the families that have come to Oldham County when Oldham County was first formed in 1824. So we've done cemetery. If you want to see, we had for 10 years, we had volunteers that made a cemetery, went to all the cemeteries, and they GPSed them. And you can find that under research on our website.
Wow.
If you have people that you have ancestors here in Oldham County, just
Mm-hmm.
look on that under research. You'll see cemeteries and graves, and that has a listing of people up to the year 2000 that are buried in Oldham County. So that's how we got into the cemetery tours,
Oh,
because
neat.
we've done so much cemetery work. So we visit the older cemeteries in the fall. We go to different ones and tell the stories of the people who are buried there.
Very
Oh,
cool.
that's neat.
So
That's
just
neat.
join us for that. But that's the
Yeah,
way. That's the
definitely.
best way to contact the History Center.
Great. And then Terry, for you, as far as you as an author, creative, and everything else,
Well, I do have a website. It's terrychambers.net. Do not use
Mhm.
terrychambers.com. If you do, you will go to a British rock star drummer.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Do not go to terrychambers.com. It's
Oh,
terrychambers.net. On Facebook, I do have a Facebook page. Well, on there, I'll have a calendar of all of the appearances that I'm currently booking.
okay.
And I do book my bookings for both Delia and the new character is Mary Miller. She's getting premiered in July and going forward, and you can get a hold of me off that website if you're interested in me coming to you. I do performances for the History Center at the History Center, but I also kind of travel around in the area too. I was at a church yesterday, and I've got something going this Sunday, and so you can take a look at the calendar there and catch me there. I have Terry Chambers Storyteller on Facebook, and I keep a lot of things going there as well. So
Great.
Nice.
anybody
Very good, very good.
from
Yeah.
A to Z, how to create a one-person show by scripting your own monologue, by costuming, by doing all of the things that are required to do a really successful show. So I'll be there too. And I just want to, before we sign off, I know Bob's going to talk too, but thank you all so much for
Well, of
letting
course.
us come on this
course.
evening. This has been so great. And thanks for letting us talk so much about everything that we're all involved in out here.
Oh, anytime. That's what
Well,
we're here
yes.
for.
Sounds
Yeah, we-
amazing, and we're definitely going to make a trip, or we're going to make several.
Yes, we are. Sounds like several.
Yeah, we look
It
forward to
sounds like
that.
several now.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah. All right, Bob, it's your turn.
Yeah, my Facebook page is under construction, a reconstruction again, but I've got a Colonel Bob KY on Facebook, COLBOBKY.
Definitely.
And,
You'll be getting a friend request from me for sure. 'Cause,
Okay,
yeah, definitely want to keep up with you. Yeah, for
sure. There's an email on there too. It's
Yeah, don't worry. Not
Okay,
just for
cool.
insights on communal farms.
Uh,
Much more.
and
Yes.
the good thing about that is all the participants in that we're still great friends.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that
all
is
these
great.
years later.
Well, it has been a great show. It's kind of a panel tonight because with three guests.
Yeah.
So it was really.
I
really
was going to
flowed
say,
well,
you
and,
really juggled those cats very well tonight.
Yeah.
Well, we actually have three cats.
We
They're
have three
tuxedos.
cats.
All three are. So we do have training with three. So yes. But
And,
thank
well,
you
I got
very
to
much.
tell them the names real quick since they love
yeah.
history. We
Yes,
have
she loved
Queen
history.
Victoria,
Oh,
Prince
no.
Albert, and Prince Leopold.
Oh, that's
Love
hilarious.
it. Love it.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, we have fun with them. They're great. Two of them were hanging out with me while I was on the show here with you tonight.
Well,
so, yeah,
I've got Leopold laying on my foot as we speak. So yeah,
Victoria and Albert are right behind me. So but they definitely they love our show, I think. but I will but I'll sign off and let Holly wrap it up with you. But thank you so much for participating tonight, and looking forward to the Corn Island Storytelling Festival coming up August 16th, 2025.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
yes.
Well,
Thank you guys for joining us.
Good
You
night.
what, honey? Oh,
I said,
thank you
see
for
at
joining us.
Imaginarium.
And well,
You're
I will
welcome.
see you at Imaginarium. I'd probably be emailing you before that.
Oh yes.
Okay.
I love all this stuff. So yes, very interesting night, and thank you guys for joining us.
You're welcome.
Our pleasure.
Join us next Wednesday, listeners, for another great guest, another great chat. Same place, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for the rest of the week, be creative. Good night, all.